Victoria Anna Elizabeth Cafasso was born on the 8th of June 1975 in Surrey, England, to Xenia and Giuseppe Cafasso. She was trilingual in English, French and Italian and was a dual citizen of the United Kingdom and Italy. Victoria grew up in the town of Ospedaletti, a town located in the northwest of Italy on the Italian Riviera. Her mother worked in the travel industry, and her father was a criminal lawyer, and Victoria had a younger sister named Alexandra. Following in her father's footsteps, Victoria had been accepted to study law at an Italian university. However, in July of 1995, Victoria, who had been torn about whether or not to participate in the course, decided to defer her entry until the following year, something which her father was apparently displeased with. According to a report about this case, she instead applied for a language course at Portsmouth University, due to begin in August of 1996. Taking a break, she travelled to her grandparents' home in England and wanted to relax for the remainder of the summer. She decided that she wished to travel and have thrilling adventures. The 20-year-old booked a plane ticket to Australia, landing at Launceston Airport in Tasmania on the 6th of October 1995, having travelled from England through Hong Kong and Melbourne. There she met up with her cousin, Simon DeSalis, who resided in Larby Cottage, a seaside property on Charles Street in Beaumaris, around a 2-hour drive east from the airport. Beaumaris, with a population of approximately 350, is nestled between Scamander and St Helens. There were approximately 150 homes within a population made up of retirees, employed and unemployed persons, with the Surfside Motel being the sole active business in the area. The town is peaceful in the off-season, however it is a popular destination for holidaymakers in the summer, which in Australia is between December and February. On her arrival to Beaumaris, Simon, who Victoria had only been in the company of twice in her life, introduced his cousin to 3 locals at Shelley Point, a lookout at the south of the sands overlooking Beaumaris Beach. The trio were Mario Agius, Mark Jackson and Hilda Jackson, the latter of whom warmed to Victoria as soon as they met. Victoria went on to attend a party for Simon's landlord, went on 2 walks on the 9th and 10th of October, and had joined her new friend Hilda, who was a part-time music teacher, at her house on the 9th of October. They enjoyed each other's company and made plans to meet again soon. On Wednesday the 11th of October, Victoria and Simon woke up early and had breakfast. At approximately 9 a.m, Victoria departed from the cottage to take a walk along the beach. As she was preparing for a run on the sands, Hilda Jackson saw Victoria heading towards the beach by herself. A couple on the beach saw Victoria, with the husband initially believing Cafasso to be Hilda Jackson. However, his wife disagreed and thought she was indeed Victoria Cafasso. Local woman Iris Smith also witnessed Victoria, but she too mistakenly thought she was Hilda at first glance. Smith recalled seeing Cafasso leaving the sea and taking a seat on the beach at approximately 9:55 a.m, and she lay sunbathing on the beach at 10:10 a.m. This would be the last time anybody saw Victoria Cafasso alive. While strolling along the beach with her dog at approximately 1:30 p.m. that afternoon at the north side of the beach near Freshwater Creek, Margaret McIntyre spotted Cafasso's body on the shoreline, with waves gently lapping over her. McIntyre visited a neighbouring residence and sought assistance from 2 men, Geoffrey Adams and Russell Harwood. While Adams stayed by Cafasso's body, Harwood and McIntyre alerted others. According to Adams, the police arrived from St Helens around 20 minutes later, and Adams had insisted that they were, quote, bare footprints and seemed to be of a man. The front part of the footprint appeared deeper than the back, and they were pointing towards the water. However, the police deny this claim and state that a different set of footprints, which they believed were female and were noticed leading towards the crime scene, plus another set of prints went up a path behind an embankment with a clear view of the crime scene. One of the officers, Constable Ferguson, who had previously been employed as a shoe salesman, closely examined the shoe prints and was clearly able to define 2 different pairs of prints at the scene, one pair being by the crime scene and the other prints up the embankment west of the crime scene. Police requested Adams to grab a tarpaulin, and upon his return to the scene, he claimed that the officers had moved Cafasso's body due to the incoming tide. No photographs were taken of the scene immediately, and forensic investigators did not attend the scene either. Ferguson also rued the oversight of not preserving the footprints on the sand, and the police were heavily scrutinised for their lack of care for preserving the crime scene and evidence. Cafasso donned a white bikini adorned with petite navy blue dots and floral detailing. The top was positioned to cover her chest while the bottoms were absent. Visible puncture injuries were present on her upper torso, neck and face, along with cuts and indications of bludgeoning. Around 50 metres from the body, police recovered many items which appeared to have belonged to the deceased. These included a watch, a ring, a bangle, white sand shoes, sunglasses, a scarf, a bottle of sun cream, a Sony Walkman, a handbag and a purse which contained papers, 509 Australian dollars and what was described as some foreign currency. Her large brown beach towel with a cheetah or leopard print on one side, a dark blue wolf t-shirt with distinctive piercing eyes and beige linen trousers from Marks & Spencer were missing. Her cousin, Simon DeSalis, discovered the news of a woman's body being found at the beach at the local post office, and he was the one to identify Victoria's body, after there had been confusion regarding the woman's identity, as a few believed the body to have been that of Hilda Jackson. An autopsy was performed by forensic pathologist Tim Lyons, who found that Victoria Cafasso had been struck by a blunt object and a thick-bladed hunting or diving knife. The blunt object had knocked out 3 of her upper teeth and fractured her alveolar bone and bridge of her nose, and it is unknown whether this blow rendered the young woman unconscious for the remainder of the attack. It was noted that the missing teeth had not been recovered. She was stabbed approximately 17 times with slashes, abrasions and lacerations on her torso, back, neck and face, and there were bruises on her arms which indicated that she had attempted to defend herself. It could not be determined whether her killer was right-handed or left-handed. The forensic pathologist also stated there were no signs of a sexual assault having occurred. There were no fingerprints found on the body, however, areas of the remains had evidence of luminol. The official cause of death was stated as, quote, exsanguination due to multiple stab wounds, including wounds to the right atrium. In other words, stab wounds to her heart caused her to bleed to death on the beach. With help from the St Helens harbour master, Colin Andrews, tidal charts ascertained the time of death as being sometime between 11:30 a.m. and 12:40 p.m. 50 or so people had been on the beach between 8:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. However, not a single person had witnessed anything or heard any cries of distress. 6 individuals provided differing and contradictory testimonies regarding the actions of the deceased as she travelled from Larby Cottage to Beaumaris Beach on the day she passed away. Based on these testimonies, it is inferred that the deceased accessed Beaumaris Beach using a pathway across from the Surfside Motel, positioned along the Tasman Highway in Beaumaris, which serves as the main coastal route. Theories began circulating, with some believing there had to have been a connection to organised crime in Italy, with Victoria's grandfather having been Chief of Police of Rome in the 1970s. However, Interpol found no evidence to support this theory. Beaumaris and Tasmania generally were known to be incredibly safe places, with locals regularly leaving their houses and cars unlocked, as they lived in such a trusting community. Police managed to whittle down suspects to 3 individuals: a doctor, a fisherman, and another man. Hilda Jackson provided police with lots of crucial information, including an uncomfortable incident she experienced with a strange man who asked her how to exit the beach. She told authorities there was something about the man which made her feel unsafe. It was reported as well that underwear had gone missing from the Jackson family's clothing line, and it became apparent that Hilda Jackson could have been the intended victim. This man was identified as a local fisherman who lived in a nearby town. Police surveyed the route Hilda routinely took to go running, and she always had a fishing knife in her possession just in case she needed to protect herself. Nothing suspicious was ever reported. The fisherman, Tony Kirkland, was later found to have had an alibi at the time of the murder, so he was subsequently ruled out as a suspect. He was uncooperative with the authorities and was also the subject of a restraining order in relation to a 17-year-old girl who he allegedly stalked. A man who had blood and scratches on him was questioned, however he too was ruled out. A doctor who was in dispute with the medical board after dismissal for intoxication and failing to disclose a jail term was also suspected due to alleged violent outbursts, but he too was cleared of any involvement. It was reported by ABC in 2020 that the Launceston Criminal Investigation Branch had teamed up with a researcher from the University of Tasmania in the hopes of being able to extract DNA from a piece of evidence in hopes of cracking the case. In August of 2023, police released new reconstruction images of a vehicle that was seen near the crime scene and revealed that they are suspicious of a man seen around the time of the murder. ABC reported that Detective Acting Inspector Andrew Hansen said, quote, "We discovered there was now a more strong link with a description of a man that was seen running across the beach at 11 a.m. on the day Victoria was found, and a driver of a vehicle that was seen in the area at around that time." The police reenactment video illustrates a distinctive light-coloured Subaru station wagon, which was seen in Freshwater Creek and other locations in Beaumaris. Witness testimonies described the male suspect as approximately 182 centimetres tall and of a fit and slim build. He was also described as a man in his 20s and looked like a surfer with tanned legs and arms. There is now a $500,000 reward for information leading to the conviction of Victoria's killer. The Sydney Morning Herald reported that when Victoria's parents, Giuseppe and Xenia, returned home after visiting Australia, there was a letter in the postbox from their daughter, written just 2 days before she died, explaining she was having a wonderful experience. Her mother said, quote, "It was like she was speaking from heaven." A memorial service was held for Victoria on the 24th of November in Beaulieu, Hampshire, and the following day, tragedy struck once more. Victoria's father, Giuseppe, passed away from a heart attack just a few weeks after his daughter's death, with many believing he died of a broken heart. He was buried beside his beloved daughter in Ospedaletti. If you have any information regarding the death of Victoria Cafasso, you can contact police on 131 444 or Crime Stoppers anonymously on 1-800 333 000 or online at crimestopperstas.com.au.